Carlos Ghosn was tired. At 64, it's not easy to clock more than 300,000 miles per year and not feel jet lagged. I seriously need to take a break. But this meeting was important. His youngest, 26-year-old daughter Maya,
Have you boarded the plane?
was bringing her boyfriend Patrick home for Thanksgiving. On my way to Tokyo. Love you guys. Ghosn had made a 7:30 dinner reservation at Giro, the Michelin star sushi counter hidden in a basement in the city's Ginza district. His Gulfstream private jet left Beirut, and as he landed at around 4:30 p.m. on 19th November 2018 at Haneda Airport, Tokyo police were waiting for him. Mr. Ghosn, you are under arrest for breach of trust and underreporting your income while working for Nissan. Later the same evening at Ghosn's corporate apartment, two Japanese men in black suits handed Maya a search warrant. We need to search the house in your presence. Thank you for cooperating. 15 more men joined them and in traditional Japanese style slipped off their shoes to enter the two-bedroom apartment, taking everything apart. 6.5 hours later, at 11:30 at night, the men finally left, but not before warning them. Please do not use your cell phones. We need to record everything. Fully clothed, they stepped into the bathroom and put on the shower.
What are you doing?
Shh! They may be recording everything. Let's take the first flight and leave Japan as soon as possible. Ghosn, along with his right-hand man Greg Kelly, later released on bail, was charged for financial misconduct of $114.7 million and kept in the Tokyo detention center. Housed in a 16 by 10 cell with only a tatami mat, a toilet in a corner and the lights always on, it was a dramatic fall from grace for a man regarded as one of the most powerful executives in the history of the auto industry. Born on March 9, 1954 in the Brazilian city of Porto Velho, the family shifted to Beirut, Lebanon when Ghosn was just 6 years old. Educated in Paris, he graduated as an engineer in 1978. Legend has it that as a kid, Carlos would blindfold himself and try to recognize the car from the sound they made.
That's the 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air convertible. Once the Nash Cosmopolitan. 1951 Studebaker two-door sedan.
The young engineer joined Europe's largest tire maker Michelin and in just 3 years became plant manager and in another 3 named head of R&D for the company's industrial tire division. In the same year, he married his first wife Rita, with whom he had 4 children. In 1985, Michelin CEO Francois Michelin gave him his first big challenge. Carl, Brazil's hyperinflation is creating a big problem for us. I need you to turn this struggling operation around. He achieved the target within 2 years. 5 years later, he was promoted to head Michelin in North America. After 18 years at Michelin, in 1996, Ghosn joined another struggling automaker, the French company Renault. Making deep cuts to revive it, in French auto circles, he began to be called, "Watch out, here comes Le Cost Killer." 3 years later, Ghosn, then a vice president at Renault, persuaded his boss Louis Schweitzer. At $5.4 billion, this is a great opportunity to buy a stake in Nissan. Many industry experts thought this to be a terrible idea. Nissan had $35 billion in debt, a bloated workforce due to the Japanese policy of lifetime employment. It made 46 cars, of which only 3 were profitable. Bob Lutz, then vice chairman of General Motors, had sarcastically said, Renault would be better off taking $5 billion, putting it on a barge and sinking it in the middle of the ocean. But Le Cost Killer was undeterred. He closed 5 plants, slashed 21,000 jobs, almost 14% of the entire Nissan workforce, reduced the number of suppliers, sold off the company's prized aerospace unit, and brought in non-Japanese executives to run the company. And predicted, the Nissan revival plan will turn the company around in 3 years, with a profit margin of 4.5% of sales. I will resign if these goals are not met. His ruthless non-Japanese etiquette at Nissan became a target of public outrage and earned him yet another title, Kairetsu Killer. But in the very first year, Nissan's net profit after tax climbed to $2.7 billion from a loss of almost $6.5 billion in the previous year. 3 years later, it was one of the industry's most profitable automakers, with operating margins consistently above 9%, more than twice the industry average, 3 times increase in market capitalization, and 10 times rise in operating margins. 6 years later, Nissan surpassed Honda to become Japan's number 2 automaker, behind only Toyota. Its Altima sedans, Titan pickup trucks, and Murano SUVs made Nissan a major player in the United States, an achievement that Wall Street once deemed impossible. Soon he was royalty. In 2004, Emperor Akihito awarded Ghosn a blue ribbon medal, making him the first foreign business leader to receive the honor. By 2005, Ghosn was head of the Renault Nissan alliance and the first person to simultaneously serve as CEO of 2 Fortune Global 500 companies. The enigmatic Gaijin, as foreigners are called in Japan, was revered to the likes of Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett and Elon Musk. Such was his popularity that in a 2011 poll of people the Japanese would like to run their country, Ghosn came 7th, ahead of Obama on 9th. A manga comic book, The True Story of Carlos Ghosn, gave him a cult status of a superhero. In 2011, Nissan's zero-emission electric car Leaf was named the World Car of the Year. Renault Nissan in 2016 then acquired a controlling 34% stake in Mitsubishi Motors to become Renault Nissan Mitsubishi. The three together would employ more than 450,000 people, selling 10 million plus vehicles a year, making it the 4th largest auto group after Toyota, Volkswagen and General Motors. The businessman showcased his celebrity status by carrying the Olympic torch in Brazil's 2016 Summer Games. And in 2017, Lebanon put Ghosn's face on a postage stamp. You are tipped as a potential president of Lebanon. I already have too many jobs. At Ghosn's peak, Renault sales had hit $74 billion, profits of almost $5 billion. But the Japanese establishment began resenting the outsider who rejected traditional values and brought in free market capitalism. Like the 5 homes he owned, a 5,500 square foot flat in Paris's elegant 16th arrondissement, an apartment in Rio de Janeiro worth $6 million, a house in Beirut costing almost $15 million, plus homes in Tokyo and Amsterdam, all built to Nissan. His splashy lifestyle was out of sync with the modest Japanese culture. A lavish second wedding reception at the Versailles Palace the same year was inspired by Sofia Coppola's film on Marie Antoinette, which reeked to the Japanese of an opulent show of wealth. Ghosn then told his artist and friend, the Lebanese Nadim Karam, I want you to create a grand statement for the entrance of Nissan's Yokohama headquarters, paying a staggering $888,000 to him for his statue, Wheels of Innovation. But the most contentious issue that rankled the industry was his pay. In Japan, where salarymen slave away at the kaisha or company with a sense of communal pride almost as important as the salary, Ghosn made $16.9 million, nearly 11 times what Takeshi Uchiyamada, chairman of Toyota, the world's largest car maker, earned, but well below the almost $22 million paid to Mary Barra, the chief executive of General Motors. By the time of his arrest, he had amassed a fortune of approximately $125 million, divided into shares of Renault Nissan and cash and other assets. In France, where the government owns a 15% stake in Renault, current President Emmanuel Macron, then finance minister in 2015, criticized Ghosn. His $8 million salary at Renault is excessive. Faced with a backlash, okay, I will take a 30% pay cut. But it was basically an accounting trick. As the whistleblower inside Nissan revealed, already 2 salary pots had been created. In the first pot, the salary with the 30% cut would be paid to him in the current year, and in the second pot, another portion equivalent to the 30% plus more was put under a liability to be paid to him whenever he retired from the company. Thank you, I am now leaving the company. Sir, please take your balance money that we kept as a liability. In an irony, Hiroto Saikawa, the company's CEO and internal auditor whom Ghosn had groomed as his successor, found that his mentor had underreported income from 2009 to 2017 and used venture capital money to buy his homes. I felt not just that it was regrettable, I felt indignation, and personally, I keenly felt despair. As tensions grew, Ghosn thought about getting out. When he couldn't sleep at night, he would walk the streets of Tokyo, listening to an old man playing the shakuhachi, an end-blown bamboo flute that dates to 7th century Japan. Little did he think he would be treated like a dangerous criminal and kept in the same facility that once housed Shoko Asahara, responsible for the deadly sarin attacks on the Tokyo subway in 1995 that killed 13 people. Now, 20 pounds thinner, he is being questioned by prosecutors daily. Jail authorities have denied him even a mattress, family photos, pen and paper, dental floss, and an iPad Nano loaded with music by his favorite Phil Collins. To deal with the situation, he read motivational books. He was brought to court for his January hearing wearing a handcuff chain around his waist, as if he was a criminal that could scale walls and outrun the police. Japanese double standards can be seen when in the Takata and Toshiba scandals of 2015, Japanese executives got away with financial penalties and no jail time, despite concealing defects in millions of its airbags that led to at least 16 deaths. While Toshiba executives overstated profits by more than 1.2 billion but were not arrested. 5 Japanese auto companies were let off with apologies after admitting to falsifying emission data, while Volkswagen had to pay $21 billion. See BISBO story. Only in 2011 did Olympus executives spend 8 weeks in jail for a $1 billion accounting fraud, while Ghosn spent 4 months in jail over allegations that he underreported his pay by $83 million, temporarily debited personal investment losses worth $17 million to Nissan, took a $9 million payment from Dutch company NMBV, part of the Renault group, without knowledge of other directors, and appointed his sister Claudine Bichara de Oliveira at a high salary for an unnecessary job. At his bail hearing in the Tokyo District Court on January 8th, Ghosn bravely rubbished the allegations, for which he can get a jail term of 10 years on each count. I have been wrongly accused and unfairly detained on unsubstantiated accusations. Everything I did was disclosed. But agreed to reimburse Nissan for his 2016 wedding cost at the Versailles Palace worth 50,000 euros. The fact is that Nissan gave Ghosn extraordinary leeway to pay himself and other executives however much he wanted, probably in return for once saving the company from bankruptcy. The key question would be whether he informed the board about his retirement fund. If yes, then the whole board is responsible, not just Ghosn. A conspiracy theory doing the rounds is that the scandal was manufactured to avoid Japanese Nissan's complete merger with the French company Renault. Despite being dumped by the Japanese, Renault supported him, citing the principle of presumed innocence, but after being denied bail, replaced Ghosn as chairman. French President Emmanuel Macron, himself under pressure from the Yellow Jacket protest over pay, is in no position to pressurize the Japanese despite the French government owning a 6.5% stake in Nissan via Renault. Ghosn replaced his defense lawyer with Junichiro Hironaka, nicknamed Razor for his mental sharpness, who finally managed to convince the court to release him on condition A. That he not leave Japan, B. Restrict use of his cell phone, C. That he be allowed to use the computer only at his lawyer's office during daytime hours, and D. That he be banned from contacting any Nissan executive. Finally, after 105 days in custody, Ghosn walked out of prison on bail of 1 billion yen or $9 million, roughly 63 crores. Ghosn's trial is at least 6 months away, and Japan has a 99% conviction rate based largely on confessions, which Ghosn hasn't given. There is no doubt that Ghosn is being treated harshly by the Japanese. Financial misconduct should attract jail time only if proven guilty, not until then. BISBO's limerick. Carlos Ghosn saved Nissan from the brink. So when the cup runneth over, he let himself drink. Why couldn't he just ask before filling his flask? Why did he have to do this? What did he think?